On the contrary, the Apostle says, Hebrews 7:12, that the priesthood being translated, it is necessary that a translation also be made of the law. But the priesthood was transferred from Aaron to Christ. Therefore the entire law was also transferred. Therefore the judicial precepts are no longer in force. I answer that the judicial precepts did not bind forever, but were annulled by the coming of Christ, yet not in the same way as the ceremonial precepts. For the ceremonial precepts were annulled so far as to be not only dead, but also deadly to those who observe them, since the coming of Christ, especially since the promulgation of the gospel. On the other hand, the judicial precepts are dead indeed, because they have no binding force, but they are not deadly. For if a sovereign were to order these judicial precepts to be observed in his kingdom, he would not sin, unless perchance they were observed or ordered to be observed, as though they derived their binding force through being institutions of the old law, for it would be a deadly sin to intend to observe them thus. The reason for this difference may be gathered from what has been said above, for it has been stated that the ceremonial precepts are figurative primarily and in themselves as being instituted chiefly for the purpose of foreshadowing the mysteries of Christ to come. On the other hand, the judicial precepts were not instituted that they might be figures, but that they might shape the state of that people who were directed to Christ. Consequently, when the state of that people changed with the coming of Christ, the judicial precepts lost their binding force, for the law was a pedagogue, leading men to Christ, as stated in Galatians 3:24. Since, however, these judicial precepts are instituted not for the purpose of being figures, but for the performance of certain deeds, the observance thereof is not prejudicial to the truth of faith. But the intention of observing them as though one were bound by the law is prejudicial to the truth of faith, because it would follow that the former state of the people still lasts, and that Christ has not yet come.